Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Jason Rice with Old Man Disc Golf and Prodigy Street Team. And I've been playing around. I'm in Indiana, and so it is cold in Indiana. I got a helper. I think you can probably see Cooper this morning. Down, buddy. Down, down. I've been playing around with dying discs. I mean, even though it's November, it's already starting to get cold. I played a tournament on Saturday that I hosted. When we teed off, it was 29 degrees or something stupid, 45-mile-an-hour winds. And so if you love disc golf, you do something during the winter. You find a place to putt, or you put on enough layers that you're not going to freeze to death in Indiana, and you play disc golf. So I've been playing around with dying discs, and I've really enjoyed it. And I've learned some things. And what I found out, there are all kinds of videos on YouTube to teach you how to dye discs. Tons of great videos. Check them out. Like The Difference is doing it. He does an amazing job. There's a ton of them. What I don't think happens is people don't tell you what they've learned, and then when you make a mistake, like, what do you do from there? And so that's what this is about. These are the things that I've learned, and I'm still not good at it, right? And I probably won't ever be great at it because I'm not an artist, but I have enjoyed doing it. So the first thing I've learned is you can't be afraid to mess up a disc. If you're afraid you're going to mess up a disc, and if you have a limited amount of disc, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I really wouldn't. Like, if you're going to be embarrassed by throwing it, I wouldn't do it. So think of it as a used disc. You know, if you're buying a used disc, you don't really typically care if the stamp is messed up or things like that. You're just trying it out. So I just took some of my discs that I was playing with, and I decided I was going to dye them. And so the first one that I dyed was this PA1. I don't even know that you can tell that I dyed it. It's a 300G plastic. It has some characteristics of dye in it, but not really. The next one that I dyed was a P Model S because it's a little bit more of a step up from the 300 plastic. Now, it has some subtle colors, but I learned a couple things from that I'm going to talk about. So the first thing I learned is you can dye a base model plastic, but plastic matters. This is not a DX plastic. And I threw Innova before I was sponsored with Prodigy. I threw a lot of Innova. I like Innova. I'm just saying this plastic is a higher grade base model than what DX is. I've seen where people try to dye DX plastic and it just doesn't work at all. So this is super subtle. It really doesn't translate a lot. I did this with a shaving cream dye, Arbed, and with RIT dye. What I learned is I also had some Pro Chem dye, and I thought, oh, I'll do that. And so I mixed it with acetone. When you mix acetone in a dye and put it on shaving cream, it eats the shaving cream and it doesn't make contact with the disc. And so there are a couple places like there and there where it got a little bit of red. I had a lot of red in this. It just didn't pick it up because the red that I used ate the shaving cream. So that's the thing. You can't do a shaving cream and acetone mix. So with some of the powdered dyes, you mix them with acetone, and that's how you make it. It just doesn't work on shaving cream. Doesn't work. So that's the first thing. You can't be afraid to mess up a disc. You can dye base plastic. So these are two base plastics, what would be considered base plastics, even though, like I said, they're a step up from like a DX plastic. So this is another PA1. This is a 300 soft, by the way. Best putter ever. Love it. It's like me and Isaac Robinson are the only people who putt with this, but I used to putt with the Judge. Love the PA1. And then an M Model S. If you're looking for a great straight flying mid-range, M Model S. Check it out. My daughter-in-law did this one. I did this one. I really like them both. They're really subtle. They didn't pick up a lot of the colors. This one set for 36 hours. This one set for 24 hours. So I had to leave them set to get the colors that they got for quite a while. But I like them. I think they're cool. Got compliments on them in the tournament that I played in. People saw them. I think they're cool. So you can do a base model plastic. The other thing that I learned is your choice of your dye and your choice of your median, so your base, really matters. So I saw on YouTube that you can use this Michaels clear glue. It's 10 bucks. It's super cheap from Michaels store. I can tell you, however, you cannot use this glue and this RIT dye, the synthetic Dye-More dye, together unless you make some adjustments to the dye. So when you do a clear glue base, and I haven't found anyone else that talks about this. When you do a clear glue base, you drop the dye in it, you use a straw to blow it, you do something like that. Like there's all kinds of videos about that. The dye needs to set on top of the glue. If it goes through, it won't make contact with the disc and you won't get the colors. And so what you have to do is, if you're going to use this RIT synthetic dye and that glue, you have to mix glue and dye together in your bottle that you're using to put it on there, or in your dropper, or however you're doing it. I think you could probably do lotion as well, mix them together. I don't know, I haven't tried that. But when you do that, the downfall to that is that if you don't use all of the dye in one sitting that you've mixed, you have to rinse it out because the glue's going to set up and you're going to lose it. However, if you do that, you can get some pretty cool colors. So this is a disc that I did with that. And the colors came out really cool. This is an F1. It really is one of my favorite discs that I've dyed so far. It's a 750 plastic, so it's super premium. That's one of the things that I've learned too, is you can dye a colored plastic. This was yellow. It was a 750, super premium. I'm going to compare that to a 400 plastic that I dyed, which was, again, colored. You can see it picked up colors. It looks cool, but it does not have the same colors this has in it. It's not as vibrant. The other thing that I learned is you can do too much and just mess things up. I think this would have been a really cool disc, and I just kind of lost my mind with the swirls as I was doing it and just did too much. I have these two out because this is shaving cream and this is with a clear glue base. So I mixed the glue with the RIT dye and used it for that. With this, I took the shaving cream and I mixed the dye with lotion. And that way I could keep it up on top of the shaving cream. And I did not use any acetone based dye. I only used the RIT dyes with this. And I think it did a really good job because it was a premium plastic. So that's a big deal, picking those together. If you want really, really cool defined patterns, you can't use glue. Glue will give you some interesting patterns. This is a glue one. I did some swirls. This is a white disc. This is a 400. This is a premium. This, I think, is cool, but in order to get really defined things, you have to use a different base. And that's typically lotion or Floetrol. I haven't played with Floetrol at all. This is a lotion bed. And so you can see this got a flower design. It came out really well. But here's the thing that I think, again, when I go back to plastic, this is a Star plastic. This is a 750 plastic. Look how much more vibrant the colors are on the 750 plastic. So a premium plastic really, really matters, or which premium plastic really matters, because Star is premium. This is a Rock 3 that I'm going to give to a friend. So those are the type of things that I've learned. You can't be afraid to mess up. Plastic really matters. Picking your plastic. You can't dye base plastic, just know it's going to be subtle. I like subtle. I think it's cool. If you want more of an abstract, you can really do that with the glue base. If you're looking for something more of a design, you've got to use something like a lotion base. And if you're going to use the RIT synthetic dye on a lotion base, you need to mix dye and lotion together. So I have 3-ounce bottles. I put about 2 ounces of lotion to 1 ounce of dye and mixed them together. And if you do those things and you start playing around with it, you're going to make some cool things. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it helped.